With me for this session, I have Mr. Jaren Leet, Mr. Mike Stefanic, and Mr. Dirk de Winter.
I started Aqua in '67 on this new technology, reverse osmosis, and I went down to San Diego, learned a little bit about RO, came back, and in 1969 we had a terrible problem with Fairchild up in San Rafael. They'd had a drought and the lakes were down. A lot of organics, terrible organics, and we bought a system from Roga, and that was the first commercially sold RO system to the semiconductor industry. It was the same year that TI purchased modules and membranes, or vessels and modules from Roga, and built their own with Austin McCormick, and the same year that IBM and Manassas had the same problem and got together in a joint venture with DuPont that ended up with the hollow fine fiber. All independent, had no knowledge of each other. But I got going with Aqua in the semiconductor industry, and as everybody knows, it grew enormously. And Aqua, thanks to Mike and others, Randy, we dominated that growth of that industry. The first chip that Intel ever made was made with Aqua water.
How long was Aqua actually in business?
From 1967 to 1985.
So you had a pretty good run.
Yeah, we had.
And did you sort of naturally drift into the founding of Aqua, or did something propel you there?
No, I got, as I said, I joined PureCell, right. And we sold PureCell to Foremost Semiconductor, and we were delivering, we had a water purification plant, and we were delivering that water in tankers to Silicon Valley, and then polishing it on site. And we were doubling every month in revenue, and I needed more trucks. And Foremost didn't, they had a 5-year plan on the capital things like trucks, so you couldn't. So I rented milk trucks, and we could sterilize the milk truck, and we'd deliver on the milk truck, and I'd rent them because I couldn't sign a lease. And I was just figuring out how to keep this company growing, and they didn't like that. And so I got myself fired, which was fine, and I started my own company.
My theory is, now that I know a little bit about the RO business as it was everyone who made these smaller units got the opportunity at one time or another to make a larger unit and not sell to the semiconductor companies, because it was still a hard sell to move them away from clarification and deionization and to replace it with a reverse osmosis unit. And it took a while to do that. And so the attraction of going to a larger system for a municipal or a larger industrial application lured the people away. It was it just was inevitable that they would do that.
How did you manage to stay ahead of the competition?
We were tremendously customer driven, and the semiconductor customers were really advanced, and we had a chance to work with the R&D section of our customers who would say, hey, we need better water. How do we get better water? And better water was defined by having not only being 18 megohm water, but lower particle counts. And vendors would come up with better particle counters. We learned about how to control the bacteria with various wavelengths of ultraviolet, and the customers were always willing and looking forward to some way that we could improve the system, and they could prove to themselves that the better quality water, the higher their yields would be. The semiconductor industry started demanding purified water, so we built a water purification plant and started delivering it again. And Alhambra, we cut Alhambra off totally, and so they said, well, we can't have this. So they came down and made us a cash offer, and Jared never had any cash, any money. I'd never had any money. I hashed my way through Stanford, and so did he. So this looked pretty good, and so we took the cash. Jared given me 25% of the company, and I stayed down there, and I told the story earlier, 8 months, and then started Aqua Media when I got fired.
Yeah. Dirk, I noticed that while you were at Hydranautics, you worked on a hollow fiber membrane. I'm assuming that was UF?
UF, yeah.
Yeah.
UF,
What did that work consist of?
well, it's a design for a particular module, one of those, it's a 8-inch or a little bit more than 8-inch and about 5 feet tall or something. And these modules are used, well, they can be in England, southwest of London. They're used for removing bacteria and viruses from river water if you don't have to remove any salt. And nowadays, the UF hollow fibers are used quite a lot for pretreatment of RO, where you can increase the flux maybe from 8 GFD to 12 GFD and reduce the footprint of large plants.
The Queen Elizabeth and the Brits had the Falkland War, and they took it was the QE2 and bought vessels and membranes from us in some design, and assembled and built the system underway to go down and provide drinking water to support the Falkland War.